So update from last week, I wore a shirt in the pool underneath the buoyancy control vest while I was diving. This shirt used to be black. Not only did I accidentally bleach the whole thing gray, but there is also, I don't know if you can see it, a black line where the vest straps around me that's still black. And the rest of the shirt is gray. Why did I do this to myself? Hey guys, Ellie again. So for those of you that saw my last video, you know something major is happening right now. I am in scuba dive training. Woo! Fantastic. So I am here today to talk to you guys about some of the equipment that I use and what I use it for before I leave for Mexico here in just a few days. So here we go. So if you guys have ever seen a picture or a video or something of someone scuba diving or snorkeling, you probably recognize the fins that are on their feet to help move them along. Inside of their fins, we have boots. So these are actually about 2 sizes smaller than my normal shoe size because they have to fit exactly to your feet. So your toes go all the way to the very front. This one's currently wet right now, actually, as I was in dive training today. So it's still a little damp from the pool earlier. But these will form to your feet really well and sort of just become an extension of your feet, which is really nice. So you don't have to worry about your feet sliding around in them or moving in them, things like that. One of the most recognizable parts of pretty much any diver you will ever see are their fins. So this slides on over your boot, over your foot, and essentially just becomes a giant extension of your foot. So the first, 3 or 4 days of wearing it, it was probably the most awkward thing I've ever worn in my entire life because they essentially make you feel like a duck whose feet are not proportional. And in this case, this style of fin, if you can tell, actually curves so it doesn't lay flat. So when you go to like walk over to the water, you end up catching the toe on things a lot, and I have almost face planted in full gear. It's not fun. Don't do it. And then this part, so your foot slides in like this, and then it snaps around and holds in place. And then you can tighten it, which is great, because it turns out I had smaller feet than I thought I did. So definitely the most stylish part of this entire scuba ensemble is my wetsuit. So this one is actually a UV protective suit. It doesn't actually go for warmth because I do not intend on being cold in Mexico. This will simply keep me from turning completely red and sunburning all over, which I might just do anyway, honestly. I sunburn from being outside for about a half an hour. In my opinion, one of the most fun pieces of equipment that I'm dealing with this week is the mask. So this comes in this super fun, like, protective case, which is fantastic when I have to put it in a suitcase. And this is the part that makes you look the most ridiculous, but is also the best for being able to communicate with people. Because, fun fact, it's really hard to talk to other people underwater. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but it really doesn't work very well. And so in order to talk to, like, your instructors and the other people you're diving with and stuff like that, you have to be able to see what they're doing. Like, we use some sign language and gestures and things like that as to whether you need to surface or are you okay and everything. So you really have to be able to see. One of the drills we did with these was taking it completely off underwater and then back on, as I've mentioned before, which is pretty terrifying because you have to remind yourself that you can still breathe through your mouth even though your nose is surrounded by water. Another very important item when it comes to masks is defog gel. So it turns out, I didn't realize this until it became a problem, the inside of your mask will start to fog up from the heat of your face. So as you're swimming and as you're producing heat and you're sweating, even though you don't realize it, you start to fog the inside. So you use this stuff and you put it on beforehand, and it's this like gel that protects the inside of it from fogging so you don't have to clear it as often, which is fantastic. One of the hardest parts of learning how to be underwater is breathing. Fortunately, they invented snorkels for that. This guy here has this little button thing, and then it clips onto the left side of your mask so that you always have it with you and it can't go like floating off if you let it out of your mouth, because honestly, These things are very expensive and you really don't want to lose them. And you need them to breathe. Always an important part. So in order to carry all of this fantastic gear around as we trek through the beaches of Mexico, I have this mesh bag. So it is large enough to fit my fins, thank goodness, but that also makes it very awkward to carry. So it has this side handle, and also it doubles as a backpack, in case you're wondering. And in the bottom of this bag, let's just see what else is here. We have some form inserts for my fins to make sure that they don't warp if I leave them outside. We have an extra snorkel, because you never know when you're going to need another snorkel. As well as some airheads, in case you get hungry. I don't know why this is in here. I don't know where this came from. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see any of that gear in action, stay tuned until next week to catch a video of my trip. Or the week after. It depends on when I edit, you never know. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and that gray bell if you want notifications when I post new videos, and I will see you guys next week. Now I really have to go pack.